see.
Okay. Here, it's going. Okay.
1 minute.
Okay. Our second contestant, David Hollingsworth. There's no stopping you. There's no stopping you. David Hollingsworth.
Do you remember when you first learned how to ride a bike? When you're finally able to get rid of those training wheels, put your hands on the handlebars, your feet on the pedals, and give yourself a push? And once you got in motion, there was no stopping you. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, anyone who's ever struggled to find their sense of balance. When I was 5 years old, I was having trouble learning how to ride a bike without training wheels. I just couldn't find my sense of balance. I could ride around in circles a bit, but I never got enough speed to get myself going. I had to seek out someone older and wiser. My brother Jim, he was 7. And Jim had a great idea. Without asking, he borrowed my older sister's brand new Schwinn bicycle. He took me to the top of the tallest hill in the neighborhood. He put my hands on the handlebars, my feet on the pedals, and gave me a push. As I picked up speed, I realized my brother forgot to tell me 2 things: how to steer and how to brake. Once I got going, there was no stopping me. According to Isaac Newton, any object in motion tends to stay in motion until acted on by an outside force, like drag or friction, or a big red 1965 Buick parked at the bottom of the hill. As I rocketed toward the car, I held on, I closed my eyes, and shoot! The front wheel of the bike was lodged way up in the wheel well of the car. My underwear was wedged way up somewhere else. My brother Jim ran down the hill, pried my hands off the handlebars, pulled the bike out of the wheel well, and we quickly ran back to the house. My sister still doesn't know. But that's how I learned to ride a bike. Once I got in motion, there was no stopping me. When my son Jamie was 5 years old, he was having trouble learning how to ride a bike without his training wheels. He could ride in circles in the driveway, but that's about as far as it went. He couldn't keep his balance and he kept falling down. It got so serious, we took him to a doctor to find out what the problem was. They put him through a battery of tests, and finally the doctor came out. We've got the results of his tests. Your son has autism, and one of the symptoms is that his brain can't tell his body how to keep a sense of balance. Doc, does that mean he won't be able to ride a bike? Riding a bike is the least of his problems. He literally has no sense of balance. He can't tell when he's standing or when he's falling. I'm afraid he may never be able to learn how to ride a bike. We were devastated. Jamie really wanted to learn how to ride a bike. And I wanted to know if it was possible, I was going to find a way to teach him. So I started researching, how do you stay upright on a bike? How do you steer? How do you turn? How do you slow down and stop without using a big red 1965 Buick? I looked back to when I learned how to ride a bike, and I realized it wasn't balance at all. It was motion. You had to be moving forward to give your sense a sense of balance. So how do I do that for Jamie? I really couldn't push him down a hill. So I took a big bar and bolted it on the back of the bike. I took off his training wheels. Now I would run along behind him while he pedaled so he could get that sense of motion. And one day he rode to the end of the driveway. A few days later, he rode to the end of the street. One day he rode all the way around the block. I'm running behind him the whole time. All the time he's yelling, "Hang on, Dad!" When we got back, I said, "Jamie, I haven't been hanging on all week. That was all you." And the look on Jamie's face let me know that all the work he put into it was worth it. But it didn't stop there. Jamie went on to ride 5 miles, and then 10 miles, then 20 miles. To date, Jamie has ridden 5 100-mile century rides. Not bad for someone who could never learn how to ride a bike. But it even didn't stop there. Jamie went on to get a 4.0 average graduating from high school. He achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Once he got in motion, there was no stopping it. Well, what about you? Have you been too dependent on your training wheels? Have you gotten started, picked up a little bit of speed, but leaning on old habits has kept you from picking up enough speed to get rid of those training wheels and go where you really want to go? Maybe it's taking on a new role at work or launching a new career. If you want to go places, you've got to take the training wheels off. Once you do and get moving forward, you can go anywhere that you want to go. You might wobble a bit, you might fall down, but moving forward will give you that sense of balance, helping you go anywhere that you want to go. So it's time to take off those training wheels. Put your hands on the handlebars, your feet on the pedals, and give yourself a push. Because once you get in motion, there is no stopping you.